Kim, welcome aboard to the show. So happy to have you today.
Thanks for having me.
Kim, I'm curious, what got you into marketing, specifically influencer marketing? How did that story come?
Actually, I was reflecting on this a few weeks ago, and when I lived in New York City, it was the time when newspapers were, the print was kind of being phased out. They're having to figure out digital. Um, I've always been just the kind of person that's like, oh, hey, this is a good idea. And I was at my parents' house and they were reading newspaper. I saw Smart Source coupons. Um, and I thought, you know what? We should make coupons digital on newspapers. So I'll just create a network of newspapers and call Smart Source, and we'll launch these coupon pages, and then the newspapers can go and market it in their print. So I called Smart Source, and I ended up doing a deal with them and created a network of about 40 newspapers within 6 months. And that was really my first time in affiliate marketing, which is an offshoot of influencer marketing. So if we kind of like look at it all as partner marketing, right? And that was kind of like my first idea in creating partnership marketing. Then later in 2012, I became an affiliate manager, and clients were always looking to drive new customers. It was harder to do with lower funnel affiliates. And so I really got into influencer marketing. So I launched the first influencer network in affiliate in 2014. And then I've been using it as a growth strategy ever since.
So I want to break this down for the executives listening, who haven't necessarily used affiliate or influencer marketing before. What
Mhm.
does that even mean? Does it make sense always to any business, or is there certain cases that it does make sense and doesn't make sense? How do we even think about this?
That's a great question. So there's different types of affiliate marketing, right? And so if you look at affiliate marketing, just fundamentally, it's an agreement between a partner that has an existing audience and somebody that's selling something. And then they're agreeing to pay each other in a specific way. So traditionally it's been on commission, but that's quickly kind of evolving into a paid channel. But that's basically what it is, right? Just foundationally. So that's why in a traditional affiliate marketing, when I was talking about in 2012, we would onboard brands onto platforms that would be agnostic, and they would actually manage all of the partnerships and then manage the payouts, right? So they provide the technology. And then it was the affiliate manager's job to go out and build relationships with affiliates that have existing audiences. So you were talking at that time, it was Ebates and Retail Me Not, Coupon Cabin, Cartera, Loyalty, that type of thing. So if you look at affiliate from a consumer perspective, it touches every part of your life, right? So if you go to Delta and you shop, and then you get miles for shopping, or on your Amex if you're taking an offer within your portal, all of that is affiliate marketing. Does that make sense?
Is there as the brand or as the company that's truly trying to implement affiliate marketing,
Mhm.
how do I go about in choosing the right affiliates? Is it anybody who wants to work with me, or is there a strategy to doing it right?
So it really is going to depend on the brand, right? So some brands are going to say, well, I absolutely don't want to work with any deal sites or coupon sites, right? Or they're going to say, I don't want to deal with any browser extensions, which are going to be the honeys of the world and that type of thing. So it depends on what they're trying to.
By the way, why is that? Is there a negative perception there?
There is, because so a lot of affiliates, not a lot, but there's buy now, pay later affiliates, which when you're at the checkout part of your purchase, you can use Affirm and split up your payments. That's actually an affiliate relationship. Now you can have a direct relationship with Affirm. As an example, I'm just giving you an example. There's a few out there. Um, and then you can join the affiliate program, and then a firm monetizes, but they also will promote your brand in different areas. Again, they have an established audience. So there's also Honey, where it sits on the browser. So if I go to lululemon.com and I have Rakuten or Retail Me Not browser extension or Capital One Shopping or Honey, then when I go to check out, they'll have a drop down, right? And it'll say 10% cash back. So then I'll say, okay, I'll accept the 10% cash back with my established account on these platforms. And then I check out, and then I see that I got $20 on my $200 sale. The reason why it's a negative perception is the brand's paying for that traffic, right? So the user's already there, the intent's already being shown. So it's difficult to say. It depends on what the brand believes is of value, but there's a lot to be said that browser extensions help to close the sale. So I might have gone there and saw, okay, well, it's $200, but maybe I'm going to wait until like President's Day or whatever the next shopping holiday is going to be and see. A lot of times I'll put things in the cart and see if I get an email saying, hey, I see you abandoned your cart. Here's a 20% off offer. There's sign up offers. There's all sorts of ways of doing it. But that traffic is already showing intent. So if you look at affiliate, full funnel affiliate, you've got top of funnel. So that would be influencer. It would be more editorials, that type of thing, that are monetizing using affiliate links. And then you've got kind of the lower funnel, which is going to be browser extensions, buy now, pay laters, looking for deal sites. I just saw your post on, the earphones, and I go looking for it and I look for deals. I already have an intent to purchase.
Is there anything about a lot of people say, okay, well, if you're going to use somebody to sell, make sure that they're selling to the same audience that you're selling to, right? There's some kind of overlap in your persona. Is that a element when thinking through working with an influencer, working with an affiliate program, or is it just kind of like spray in any direction? If it sticks, then you've got the incentive there. If it doesn't, then you'll know.
So I think that people run it differently, right? And so it's a challenge if, as an affiliate manager, because you are actually charged with the revenue growth. That's how you're judged in terms of performance. It's my belief that you should have the persona, but really the reason why I find influencers so effective is because you're tapping into other audiences of the influencer. So we like to run large scale influencer campaigns, 15 influencers, 25 influencers, 50 influencers. And that way we're able to see the algorithms tell us which audience is really being tapped into, right? Is it a single male? Is it a family? Is it a couple that just got married? That type of thing. I think that there's a lot of value in trying to break out of the persona bubble that brands have found themselves in. And I think that that is something that they're actively looking for.
That's really interesting. I mean, you're talking about serendipity. It's the people that you just don't know about that maybe love you, and there's an opportunity to discover them. Um, how does that? You talked about large scale influencers. Are
Mhm.
are you are you managing this and going and finding each influencer and deciding to add them on? How do you even get to 15 people? What does that look like?
So we have a network of influencers, and there's a lot of influencer uh, platforms out there. We're full service. We do have our own internal tech, but at the end of the day, you want ROI proven influencers. You want influencers that are responsive, that have a diverse audience, that also are targeted. So, there's a lot of opportunity for influencer marketing and affiliate marketing for regional brands like pest control services, plumbing, local furniture companies, that type of thing. Um, but with that being said, we I mean, I've been doing this since 2014, so I had existing relationships, and influencer costs have gone out of hand. So
Mm.
I look for very specific influencers. They have to be reliable. We run the data, we see if they're ROI proven. They may not be good in terms of direct attribution, but they're really strong on reach, right? And then when you've got the reach, I mean, we approach influencer in a very data driven way, not in like, oh, they have good engagements and a lot of following, so they're worth $2,000 or whatever the case may be, right?
You're opening the door to one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Vanity metrics versus what you've coined, and I'll use your term, ROI proven.
Mhm.
How do you actually, what is ROI proven? And maybe let's say I'm the influencer. How
Yeah.
do I know if I'm ROI proven?
You wouldn't know your ROI proven. So influencers have very little impact on their own performance. And it's a really, in terms of, speaking specifically for Meta, it's a really a pay to play game. Right. So at the end of the day, I can have 15, 20 influencers launch organic campaigns. They can buy engagements, right? So but how do I get them to be seen within their audience, and then have that audience be profiled, and then have Meta to know to reach out to audiences like this, because we see that this small group of audience is interested in this brand, so now I need them to scale it, right? I need them to go further. So influencers don't know their ROI proven. We know that they are. And if we run influencers at 2, 3, that type of thing, we use UGC, we use vanity metrics, you're not going to have performance. You really need to be able to look at running influencers in different audience types, and you need to be able to run it at scale, and then you need to put budget behind it, and then see who has the reach. I've worked with an influencer, 1.5 million. She hardly has any performance, right? She doesn't take down
1.5
her
million followers.
followers, yeah, and strong
So,
engagement.
but this is really interesting what you're saying, kind of brilliant from a strategy perspective. You're saying, I'm taking an influencer and I'm going to add words to your mouth here. Keep me honest. It has really high quality of content. I'm going to let them kind of do their thing, but then I'm going to capture who their audience is, feed that back into paid advertising, Facebook, whatever, to look-alike audiences. So I'm basically going to take their existence audience, expand it, and see if it scales, and then actually the purchasing process happens through those additional audiences. Is that a fair way to describe what you said?
Mm, kind of. So I look for the influencer, their particular profile, the content that they have in the audience, right? And when I look for any metric that's on a post level, it's going to be comments, right?
Okay.
So if you're going to look for any vanity, I don't care if you have 10,000, 30,000 likes and whatever. Like I said, you could buy that. How many comments do you have?
Mm.
And what are they saying? Right. And a lot of them are part of a community. So they support each other. So that it also has to be taken into account, which is a good thing, not a negative thing. But with that being said, then you have to run budget behind it to see what type of, like, because every brand's going to be different. Like they could go for a outdoor activities brand, and it's a soccer mom, right? But then she may not do very well on a service provider that's trying to sell like phishing scam software, for
Mm.
example, right? So it just because they didn't work here doesn't mean they're not going to work over there. And then with that being said, you want to run 15, 25, we run 5 and 10. It really depends on the brand's budget. You don't want to run 5 influencers with a 50,000 budget. If you have 50,000 budget, you're going to run 50. You know what there's good balance. But what happens is that you're also hedging non-performing influencers, right? So at that point, out of 15 influencers, I know 5 are going to perform. Then
Mm.
of those 5, I'm moving budget to my 5, and then I'm taking out the 10, and then I'm adding in additional influencers that kind of held those profiles, right? Then Meta's saying, okay, well, we're hitting it because they're goal driven. They're saying it because they're budget driven. So then they're saying, okay, I see your audience. We've added 5 new ones, 2 don't work, 3 do. You know what I mean? Like it's just this scalable approach to influencer marketing with a very specific eye on performance.
Is there a way for influencers to do better and look beyond? You kind of said initially that, well, they don't know that they are ROI proven. But if we had to try and refute that or play the devil's advocate, when you look at different influencers and the ones who do become ROI proven versus the ones that don't, is there any commonality? Is there any common denominator that they're doing some things better than others?
So the ones that we work with are micro influencers, right? So we're looking.
And just explain that. What's a micro influencer
So
mean?
micro influencer is going to be anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 in followers. I can still consider ones that are 250,000 to 500,000 in followers a micro influencer. It really varies on like the type of content they're using. Then you're going to have influencers that are very niche specific, right? So YouTube is a great example of that. It's long format. You know, people say buy, people buy. They're very effective. There's Instagrammers just because of scale who have 10 million. And when they put something out there, they're very active with their audience. They are ROI. They have control over the audience. So we're talking about a set of influencers that are kind of in the lower followers, but you could argue that they actually are more believable, right? Because they're just family people, you know what I mean? Or they're just posting about stuff about their family and then things. They're more authentic. They have more freedom to say and post what they like. Um, so from that perspective, they had originally specialized in doing unboxings, which is what I did in
Mm.
2014. Well, that's starting to become not that interesting anymore, right? And so as at the end of the day, they're trying to figure out how to make money, how to I think I lost what you asked me. Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right on point, though. You were talking about strategies basically for influencers to keep up with the times and making sure, even though it's incredibly difficult, to be ROI proven.
Thank you.
Um, and,
Yes.
and
And that's the challenge.
right,
They can't put the budget behind, right? They're
right.
not getting the work constantly. They have gone after affiliate marketing and affiliates gone after influencer marketing. There's a huge problem with that strategy is tracking. So
Right.
um I won't even get into that. That's a separate podcast. But at the end of the day, influencers are like, oh, I made all this content. I'm not getting paid commissions or, doing all these things for free. Um, so the group that I like to work with are responsive and we look at influencers as influencer content distributors, so syndicates of content,
Mm.
not UGC.